to this new podcast series, The Female Trickster. This is part of a wider project called The Other Tricksters. In this series, I interview artists, curators, a clown, performers and dancers, all of them based in Gothenburg, Sweden. This is so I could investigate the trickster element within their work. All of these interviews are very loosely held conversations, with the trickster weaving in and out of them. Each interviewee I invited to make a sound work, which you will hear in the middle of each interview. In today's discussion, I'm going to be talking with Maja Ringstad. Maja is a professional clown who's been working for the last 30 years in hospitals, old people's homes, in public performance and with refugees. In this discussion, we really look at the technique of clowning. I found this really interesting and I hope you enjoy it.
It's like a gift.
Yeah, exactly.
We often talk about gifts when you're clowning.
Yeah.
And just the things that go wrong, they are the gifts from the clown gods. They give you something to work with.
You kind of put yourself in a particular state and then you sort of have to open yourself up to this idea of maybe a clown god, maybe something to really go through you, maybe.
Yes, be really, really present.
Yeah.
And to take what is given in a way.
Yeah.
To you in that moment, in that particular moment, and that if you're open to that, it will come.
In the kind of in the room and in that.
Yes, in the room and in the state that you are. The difficult thing maybe sometimes is to just be, and to trust in that it will come.
Yeah.
That thing that makes it funny or moving or touching or whatever the situation needs. In a way.
Yeah. Do you think that's because of years of experience that you can trust that somehow the right way to move, the right way to tell this joke, the right position will just turn up? Because I think actually, interestingly, as an artist, I think I'm quite nervous about. I as I've got older, I believe more that something will turn up.
Yeah.
But I definitely beforehand was nervous that it would never happen.
Yes, that's maybe true. You can go either way there, I think.
Yeah.
But if you acknowledge that thing that you need to trust, then you become better and better to trust and to wait.
Yeah.
But if you don't acknowledge that and you just keep on pushing, then you don't find it. You sort of have to experience it to understand that is the thing to do, maybe. I think you can go on all your life just pushing and pushing and pushing and never really find that state, maybe.
My interest in tricksters is maybe that they're sometimes tap dancing on the edge of something.
Yes.
And is it that? Is it?
It's really,
there's real risk as well. There's real risk.
Because you can fall. You can really fall. You can really fall into the shit.
Yes.
So that's also an expression we use a lot, to be in the shit. So you have to trust even that. When you lose everything and you just feel miserable, totally miserable, you have to find that state there where you can, as this Canadian clown teacher said, you must find that where you can indulge yourself in that feeling of
being miserable and being like allowing yourself to stay in that state.
Yes, and then the audience can be with you in a way, because we all know how it feels to be there.
Yeah.
And seeing someone that can really enjoy or indulge themselves in that state, it gives a relief to everyone, I think. But if you are very tense and it's and you don't find that to be, then the audience also becomes quite tense and stiff.
Yeah, and
so it's difficult, and it can be very difficult to find it, of course. And maybe it hasn't just to do with the experience. It's also also of course that's good to have, But it's something it's in that trust.
I was just thinking about that moment of highs and falls, and then how, maybe it is the change that's interesting to watch from the audience.
If you fall from high to very low.
Do you think it kind of increases the humour?
Yes, I think so. Yeah.
Okay.
Maybe. Yes, I think so.
Yeah.
And there is a point. There is a certain point where the feeling changes.
Yeah.
So that's why you have to be that open to really feel where is the change. So it doesn't. You don't force it. It must come when there is a point where it changes by itself in a way. And maybe it's like that in the real life too, I think. Sort of when you were very, very sad and you're crying. There is a point when it's over and the crying is over.
Yeah.
And you're often feeling a little bit better.
Yeah.
Then.
Maybe you've just run out of water, I think. Just like you don't have the water anymore.
Yeah.
But I think you're right. I think there is definitely that feels like a real experience that you can't stay in one emotion forever.
No.
It's just not a possible thing.
No.
Which is why I think maybe clowning as a kind of a form of tricksterdom is very reflective of this, of the ability to shift, humans' ability to shift maybe quickly. Yeah, I think that's super interesting. Like how we almost need to see somebody else shifting to maybe mean we can.
Yes. And that's why that's why it's so working so well at a hospital. For the children and they often, and the elderly. We also work with people with dementia. They also are often stuck in their feelings and need to come out from that to feel something else.
And do you think that's bodily? So this is another element that I think so some of the tricksters are more physical in their, they explore the disgust of the body or the humour of the body, and that ability to move the body in some ways might be, if you're sort of physically very stuck in something, maybe that the ability to move helps the emotion to move.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
absolutely. The feelings are they are in the body. They are not just in the mind. It's in all your body, and you can change a feeling just by changing your body in a way. And that's also I think important to find a way to be in your body and not in your mind, because when you're starting to think a lot about how this story will end, then you lose it.
Yeah,
you have to feel it in everything you are and you have in a way.
Yeah.
You really don't need words in a way.
Yeah.
You can use them, but you don't need them, because the feelings are really in the body.
Do you think humour then translates into different languages without needing words?
Yes.
Do you think? Clown humour.
Yes, the clown humor is. It's yes, but we meet for some years ago. There were a lot of refugees coming, and many of them we met at the hospital, and they didn't talk Swedish then, of course, and sometimes we were the only who could communicate, and you could really feel the relief of the whole family to find something that they understand and to be able to laugh at that, and it was very nice moments.
Yeah, for people in a new land, in a new
Yes.
space, and everything is new.
Yeah, and in the hospital, many strange things, and you're afraid of what's going to happen and everything, and then these funny people show up that you can just be with.
Yeah, yeah. I think in more traditional trickster roles, there's sometimes elements where it doesn't know where it's going,
No.
and you don't know if this is going to be a healing experience or it could be a tricky experience. It could lead you in as the trickster yourself, as also the audience maybe. You don't know where it's going to go. But it feels like with the clowning, there's still this definite desire to try and push people into a more relaxed or gentle place or happier place. But not happy, but more, from what I've listened to you saying, maybe more released.
Maybe, yeah.
Yeah.
And to find that communication.
So connectedness, maybe.
But there is a moment of uncertainty when we meet our children. It's often that it takes time to gain their confidence. You don't know with the clowns. You really don't know where, like you're saying, where they are going. And they are picking on each other. And they are not always nice to each other. We're always nice to the audience, but then we always take it to a safe place, of course.
That's kind of interesting as well, that maybe you're not always really kind to one another as each clowns.
Yeah, because the play isn't always kind, and children aren't always kind to each other neither, and they can see themselves in this picking and
like nitpicking and poking. And I think there's something you were maybe talked about it before, of the dynamic of the two people working together.
I think that's very important and very fun also to be two and to play with status and so. And it's depending on how strong the child is that we're meeting also, to be if they how much they can take, so we can adjust to that. Being two, we can be like two, like being like almost like one if it's too much with two.
You mean you can switch, so it's just one person,
and the other just backs up, and then we can just play with each other, and the child can just watch, and then we can maybe pick a little bit on each other, because that's often the fun is there.
To be
you can not only be nice. That's not fun. Really.
No, I think maybe it isn't. Or maybe it's not real. That's the thing. Maybe it's not real to always be nice.
No, but deep inside, you always the love is there. And that's so important too. You can be. The more love there is, the more you can pick on your partner, I think. And it must be with joy. You have to feel all the time who's in the room, what's in the room, how because you have to get to know this person's quite well, quite fast, because you cannot play with them if you don't really understand who they are. So I think that is we train that, but not really noticing that we do, but we have trained to very fast find out who is this person, what is happening in this room, and how can we play? Where is the play?
Where is the gap for the play, maybe? Like a little, got to squeeze yourself in there.
Looking for keys to.
It almost sounds mystical, because it sounds like such a hard thing to know the logic of it until you're maybe there doing it. which I think is interesting. This interesting thing where maybe it's about feeling and sense and experience to really understand how to read somebody and change in each moment.
Yes, and important too that the partner, that the one you're working with, that you know that one.
Yeah.
So you don't have to find out that. So it's in the beginning when you're working with someone new, it's working, but it takes time to know your partner really.
Yeah. Do you think it depends on the gender of your partner? Do you think it depends on some of these other, to what games you can play or what roles you can play? Or do you get beyond that when you know them?
Yes, you get, when you know them, you get beyond that. But I can. There are some differences. I think women maybe have easier to play with their feelings, and men are more, my experience then, to have tricks and to impress and that kind of play to beginning to
be sort of, when you mean impressive, they're showing things,
showing something.
They
have to give something that sometimes I can feel like we really, when we have been meeting someone and we maybe really haven't done anything, just being and at a good, being in a good place. And afterwards, I'm very happy. I think that was a good meeting. And I can feel that my male colleague maybe, well, shouldn't we have done a trick, or shouldn't we put something more into it? No, it's perfect, it's perfect. Maybe I can think that.
Yeah, that's interesting. Do you think, so maybe there's a difference in satisfaction at the end of the day?
Maybe sometimes I can feel that. And I think with my female friends, we always joking about ourselves and our misunderstandings and mistakes and all that.
Yeah, showing maybe more the vulnerability of themselves.
And there is a good place to be as a clown, in the vulnerability.
Really. Yeah. And it's maybe a strange question. I'm not sure if I like this question, but I'm going to ask anyway.
Okay,
I was just thinking, do you feel like when you're performing that you notice that you're a female clown?
Very good question, I think.
I think, I mean, I don't know.
I think the clown is very much everything. Both the female and the male.
Yeah.
So I can reach out to whatever side I want.
Yeah.
In the clown. I have two right now at the hospital. She's a she. I'm a she. So my clown tends to be always a she. But she has a dress, and you can see that it is a female. But the other clown I have, she has an overall, and there you cannot tell what she is really. So and I can use. Yes, I can use both sides in a way, and I like to be very strong, maybe because I just don't look so strong. So I like to be that, but I can play with the role we has as a female, like that the surface. You say the inside is important, so I turn it around, and I have. And I can tell them that it's the surface that's important.
Yes, yeah.
And that's a very fun place to be and to play with.
Yes. Yeah, I think there's probably quite a lot of people going through identity uncertainty and not sure about who they are now, that they're sick, or who they are now, that they might be sick forever, and so they're changing their identity. So the idea that you come in and say, because there'll be so many people saying, well, it doesn't matter because you are who you are. And you go, yes, it matters. It's just about how you look, actually. Yeah. And that's quite, that must be freeing, I think.
Yes, I think it is. I think it is.
Yeah.
But the clown is really has really no. It has gender, but hasn't.
Yeah, yeah. I think this is. I mean, ultimately, I think I was just trying with the trickster to find out what the behavior of the trickster is. And it's more just like, what is the trickster behavior when it's not given to men? And I wonder, I think maybe the clowning and these characters and becomes, because it's interesting you're saying the idea of the clown becomes stronger than the gender that you are in. Because the behaviour is more interesting.
Yeah.
So that's quite significant, I think. Becomes more a stronger role than the gender role.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. And yeah, do you feel a bit freed up by being the clown in your gender roles? I mean, or do you not think about it? I don't know if.
No, but I maybe haven't thought so much about it, but when I'm thinking about it now.
Yeah.
So yes, absolutely, I'm free in that to do whatever I want and be whatever I want. It's like you become what you need in that situation, very much so. And in relationship with the people you meet.
So you kind of in reflection to them, maybe.
Yes, you have you are someone, of course, but then you adapt to the one you meet to find that same level where you can communicate or play.
It sounds, because you said this a lot about being present and there, and it sounds like when you're in clown mode, that must be not tense, but you're present, so you're on, you're there, you're taking in all of the details, so that could be quite tiring, potentially.
Yes.
And then when you stop and you can become you out of performance, out of clown, you must suddenly feel this tiredness.
Yes, you become tired. Yes.
Yeah.
It's a very tiring job.
Yeah.
Really, it's very fun, and you are given a lot from people.
Yeah.
But you have to be on top. With in a way, you have to be so present. So, maybe when you come home, you don't want to meet a lot of people. I have to rest then.
Yeah, and stop.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sometimes maybe putting that character to bed. So you couldn't be clown
all the time.
Yeah.
No.
No.
Some are maybe, but not. I can't.
No, it's a thing you need to put on and take away.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's very nice with the nose, I think.
Yeah.
So when it comes on, you are the clown, and then you can take it off, and you can be just yourself.
Yeah.
You are yourself. That's so many double feelings about this, because you are yourself, but you are something more than yourself then, maybe.
I think that's very much the putting the mask on. And when you put on the mask, you become the heightened version, you become the extra. It's
not like you're hiding, it's just like you're being bigger.
Maybe more rude, crasser. Do you know what I mean? It's a louder version of your...
Yeah, and reaching sides that you maybe not use so often in your real life.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Once a therapist said to me, you had probably had more troubles with your mind if you had another job. So...
I mean, I think that's really interesting. I think there's so many... Does the job find us, or do we find the job? You know, like, which way round is that?
No.
Because maybe this is the best way for you to be this character, to have this every now and again. But you don't know that as well. You could be perfectly fine as a banker or something. You have no idea.
No, you don't. But yeah.
But do you think you would feel less? Do you think that's quite a personal question? But do you think you'd feel I don't know, less stable or less comfortable if you were doing another role, another type of job?
I think, yes, I have always done this, so it's a difficult question to answer. But I think it's fantastic to be able to play with all these feelings that you have and to explore them, to explore the human behavior in a way.
Yeah.
All the good things and all the bad things. That's fantastic to be allowed to do at work, in a way.
Yeah, because it...
And to, by that, also give other people the opportunity to feel better and have fun.
I remember talking to a performer who was talking about this idea of reflective neurons, like reflective things in your brains. So the ability an audience member has to almost reflect what you're doing when they're watching you.
That's interesting, because I can feel sometimes when in the hospital, when they are stuck in the bed, they cannot move.
Yeah.
Then I become, sometimes I can really feel that I become their body in a way. I'm moving for them sometimes. So it's like, when it's really working, our job is when we are one, the audience and the clown and the partner, and we are just like one in a way, but different sides of this one thing. Strange. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, so, okay, I'll ask you a very simple question. You started working with clowning back in the 90s, I think you said.
Yes.
Yes. So in 30 years of working?
Oh, it's that much, yes.
Yes. Was it, if it was from the beginning of the 90s, though, it depends.
Yes, it was.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So, yeah, it's a long time to hone something. You must have become an expert in something, in this clowning.
Yes, and in the same time, I can feel every morning when I'm going out, I have this a little bit, I don't know what's going to happen. Maybe I've got it all.
Yeah.
And I think you must have that what you call it, that little tense that you don't know. You don't know if you have it or not.
Yeah, yeah. And do you think you'd become too relaxed or something if you were like, yes, I know how to do this. I can walk in.
You should be on your toes, maybe a little bit.
Okay. Yeah.
Doing this thing, because you have to be. It's being on your toes is something about that being present and being there, and in the same time being kind to yourself and allow yourself to make mistakes. It's very important. I think when I was younger, maybe I had was harder on myself when I didn't succeed, and now I know that sometimes you succeed and sometimes you don't.
Yeah,
you cannot always succeed. You have to fall down sometimes.
Yeah.
You have to be kind to yourself, because it's a difficult place to be in this.
In these
we
moments,
talked about balancing on the edge, and it's everyday balancing on the edge.
Hey, hello. My name is Loppa, and I'm a Swedish clown. Welcome to my sound laboratory. I will now present for you some fantastic clown sound. I will start with number 1. The flute, the one and only flöten. Sound number 2. There. Did you hear it? It was my thoughts flying around in this room. Sound number 3. In this little box I have it. Hello, come up. My little friend. Oh, there you are. Will you sing a little song for us? Yes? Yes. Okay. 1, 2, 3. Oh, thank you. That was wonderful. Det var underbart. Du var jätteduktig. Så nu, ner i lådan med dig igen. Så. Ja. Och nu? Sound number 4. Oh, where is it? Oh, here. Oh, där är den. Oh, nu. Himlen blå. Och tittar in genom rutan. Och tänker jag understund att ta. Och knäpper sakta på rutan. Och so beautiful. This Swedish folklore it's about the moon and back to work. Sound number 5, the last one. Oh, bravo, bravissimo, la Maja, fantastico. Thank you and goodbye. That was all from the Sound Laboratory, Loppa's Sound Laboratory. Bye-bye.
I just always remember comedians talking about being at school and maybe kids being mean or bullyish, and they used humour to get out of these situations. Do you find that you've kind of got this resource to bring out at these moments?
Maybe I use it sometimes when I meet people that are not so easy to meet.
Yeah.
To make them soften a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah. I think it becomes. Yeah, it's interesting. I'm wondering if it becomes like a set of behaviour that you know how to.
Yeah, maybe it is. I don't. Yeah. Because I don't know how I would be if I wouldn't be.
Yeah.
Working like this.
Yeah, exactly. Of course. Yeah. So, yeah, it's hard to see.
Yeah.
But yeah.
But
the clown self comes out somehow.
Yes, and I think this with the humor and we communicate a lot, people in general, with humor.
Yeah.
It's a way of connecting.
Yeah.
Everywhere in a way. So it's a very important thing of being a human.
Yeah. Yeah.
All over the world.
Yeah.
I guess.
I always remember this story of there was explorers going through the Arctic, and they had their dogs with them, and a polar bear turned up to the camp, and the polar bear, obviously, the dog's quite a nice snack for a polar bear because it's huge. So it's sort of, it's creeping up on this dog, but the dog just went into play mode
Okay.
So it just did a, sort of bend down and did a little, and sort of did a little wiggle and started to move around. And the polar bear sort of went with it and started to go into play mode as well. Mm-hmm. And so instead of eating this thing, it sort of was like, I will roll around and play with this dog.
Oh.
And then just left, but just had this.
It's a true story.
Yeah, it's a true story. There was a video and all sorts of things, and I mean, not. I guess it's a contemporary story. So, but so not when they were exploring, but they were there. Yeah, but this is just
wonderful. I will have to remember this one.
Yeah, so I think it's something interesting, like in the invite to play. Like there's something in us innately that we want to play.
Oh, and that's the that's the mode we have when we come into a room or when we are clowns at hospital maybe, or at the elderly home, or on stage also maybe, man. But to this, who are you? I want to play with you. Where can we play? How can we play? Yeah, that's the main thing we do.
Yeah.
I think, I can recognize me in that dog.
But I mean, not seeing a threat somewhere, because it just didn't see a threat; it saw a play friend.
No, and you need those. You need those.
Yeah.
That these characters, like the clowns or other, who really just are there without nothing more than just, who are you, and can we have fun together?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it becomes like, is it the? So is that sort of just letting go of?
And also, they are also this also reflecting in a way. They're reflecting. It's not just play; it's also reflecting the world, showing the world in another way, in a more hanterbar, eller
hanterbar.
Yeah, so that you so you can. You can showing the world so you easier can take it or understand it, maybe.
What do you mean?
I don't find the word really.
No, but I think that's fine. I can also always put in later when I've realised what it is. Say, this is that word. But so you can cope with it, is what you were saying.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you can bear it. Yeah. Yeah.
And that's what art do very much.
Make life bearable.
Bearable, and maybe to see it also. Because all art, it can be provocating also. But that's maybe because you see the real world clearer, in a way.
Have you, and I mean, I guess this is sort of going into areas that maybe felt like it was going wrong, but I mean, have you sort of prodded at an audience member in a way, and then they've given you a negative reaction, or got angry or something like this, like I'm curious if you've ever had experiences where you've sort of gone in there with some humour, but they responded unexpectedly, and then you had to shift to maybe meet that new position.
Probably I have.
Yeah.
Because sometimes you don't reach all the way. Of course, because the reaction can be, it's not so often, but it happens that when we meet maybe a family or a mother or a father that feels like this is not the place to have fun in. It's very seldom, and that's maybe they are also then we don't really get the chance.
Yeah.
So we cannot go past them. We have to have their
permission.
permission
Yeah.
to meet the child also. And that's very hard when you feel that, oh, there is someone there. I could, if you just give me some time. So sometimes you don't get through, of course.
Yeah. But it's because they just think it's an inappropriate.
Maybe.
Yeah.
And they have so much going on for themselves. And it's important in that moment to just say, okay, it's okay.
Yeah.
It's okay for you to be angry at me. I can bear it. It's okay. You can just take it off myself afterward. It's no.
Yeah.
That's and just by doing that, if you give them that space to be angry with you, then afterwards you can get the acknowledge that they have been seen in a way.
Yeah.
And that is also a good thing.
Yeah. You recognize their anger. Yeah. But tough again. Very tough.
Yeah, tough. It is tough.
Yeah.
But it's so important to not take it in and not take it personally. The anger.
Because it's not really about you.
No, it isn't. And if you find a way to play with it, it's wonderful. Like we had this teenager boy, who was he would not have visits by clowns. That's not so. So we just, but there was something in the way he said no that we felt that maybe we should go there next time too. So he was there for several months, back and forth, and every time he was there, we was begging, please, please, please let me in, and he wouldn't, and it got bigger and bigger. This asking of coming in, and he never sometimes in the end he had the door open, but we couldn't go in. But then when he was coming to visit and the sickness was it was good, he waved in the corridor far away, and I thought that maybe we should back off here so he doesn't get embarrassing for him, but he just, hello clowns. So it was this meeting of no.
And but you said no, but also you kept him. I mean, that's an interesting one, because you were kept on pushing at the boundary as play.
Yeah, precis. It was this teasing. We was teasing him, really. In a way, and that you have to do that sometimes. But there you have the edge. You have to be on the right side of the edge all the way.
I think this idea of invisible barriers and invisible lines, I think I imagine is where the clowns live constantly, on these edges.
You have to go over a little bit, not too far, but a little bit. To say, hi, I'm seeing you, even though you don't want to really see me, but...
there's a lot of care in turning up and asking, even if you reject. I really see what you mean.
Sometimes you have to know when you are not supposed to ask, when it's enough. That's very important to acknowledge when it's like that. And if you acknowledge that, maybe after a while you can come.
Interesting. I think
nothing is everything is changing. Nothing is always the same.
And I mean, I feel like we've danced around this quite a bit actually, but I guess does it ever make you nervous that there isn't any rules? Because
Yes, you can do anything.
yeah, I mean then that's quite scary.
Yeah, and difficult to know what to do.
Yeah. Yeah.
What of all these things in the world should I choose?
Yeah.
And that's when you have to remind yourself not to think too much.
Okay.
Just more feel
And so do you just
and trust.
so when you turn up, do you sort of just begin somehow? You sort of is there a moment where you know you're going to begin or
Sometimes we have a plan.
yeah. Yeah.
We're going to do this and this. We have our tricks and our songs and our different thing. But sometimes you just have to leave it and just do what should be done in that situation. Sometimes you follow your plan and sometimes you cannot.
Yeah. It must be comforting to have the plan.
Yes, it's good to have some
Yeah.
skills to lean back on.
The trick that will always be interesting. Yeah.
When you work a lot, you must have that. But I
Yeah.
feel I had more of that in the beginning.
Yes. Yeah.
And now I improvise almost always.
Yeah. Yeah. Interesting.
But when I'm doing a show, I have the show, and then you follow
The script.
the
sort of.
script.
Yeah.
Yes, of course.
Yeah.
But it's the same in a way. You should always be open to what can happen anyway.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So,
Yeah. We should probably round up, I think.
yeah, okay.
Yeah. Is there anything you think you would like to say?
No, it's interesting to sit here and talk to you, and think about all these things.
Yeah.
What is the magic, really?
Yeah. And that's
Because it is magic, maybe. It's, in a way, what happens in the job. And you can, afterwards you can see, oh, and now I understand why I did this thing or this thing. But in the moment, you have no idea. You just do.
just being.
Just be. And sometimes you even not do. Yeah.
Today's discussion was with Maja Ringstad and me, Danielle Heath. The sound work and editor was Therese Larsson.